Hello! Today I'm here to talk about one of my favourite reading challenges, and that is the StoryGraph Reads the World challenge. This is my third year doing this challenge now. I do have a previous video about the 2025 one in which I wrapped up my thoughts on all the books that I read, some that I'd already read and some as I was reading them. But this year I want to do it a little bit differently. So this video is going to be discussing the books that I have chosen. I've done my research this year because I found out the hard way that just randomly throwing yourself at it means you're going to end up with books that don't fit the challenge's criteria. Belgium. This is the country I think I flubbed a bit. I think I bent the rules, but I did it unknowingly, and now I kind of don't really want to go back and try and find another book. So I've planned everything out. I've spent the day doing my research, and I'm here to talk about the books. So if you're new to my channel or you've not heard of this challenge before, the StoryGraph is an amazing Amazon alternative book tracking and reading platform, and they host their own challenges on their website. You can also make your own community ones, but this is the only challenge that has really stuck with me. And this one was interesting because if you know me, you know that I like to diversify my bookshelf where possible, and this is like one of the most diversifying challenges you could be doing. And they pick 10 different countries, and essentially the goal is to read a book set in that country by an author from that country. Authors who come from that country's diaspora are also eligible? I don't know why I'm being so formal about it. And it's to try and get outside of basically just reading UK and US authors all the time, because also it's astonishing the number of books about these countries written by British and American authors. That's something I've learned from the past 2 years of doing this challenge, is that there are so many British authors who are just like, yeah, I'll write a book about Afghanistan. So I find it a very fun challenge. I also use it as an excuse to really get outside of my reading comfort zone by choosing a book that I would never usually pick up in a bookstore or in the library because I'm not sure if I'd like it. I have added another layer to make this a little bit more difficult, but I've talked about this many times on my channel before, my approach to book collecting, but I have storage issues. Those are all the books I haven't read, and this is basically completely full now. I don't know where those are going to go once I've read them, so where possible, I am going to my library to find books that fit this criteria. This is where it gets very difficult because there is a very limited selection at my library. My library can source books from a range of different boroughs where I live. They still have quite a limited range for some of these countries. Amazingly, this year I have managed to find 9 books that fit the criteria from my local library, and I have already gone and bought the 10th book because there was just nothing that fit the criteria. All of these are from the library, bar one. I'm saying that I love doing this challenge and I'm filming this in April. I just didn't feel like doing it until now. So let's just get on to 2026's challenge. The 10 countries for this year are Afghanistan, Albania, Bulgaria, Croatia, France, Iraq, Morocco, Senegal, Sweden, and Thailand. Definitely read from France before. I believe I've read a book from Iraq. Most likely read a Swedish book. I've definitely read a Bulgarian book before. I've read a book from Afghanistan, but Albania, Croatia, Morocco, Senegal, and Thailand, I'm not 100% sure if I've read a book from them before, so we'll see. So let's go alphabetically. I'm going to start with Afghanistan. My hair. You know what? Sorry, my hair was really bugging me. Anyway, Afghanistan. Naturally, my first thought was rereading A Thousand Splendid Suns by Carlo Rossini. It's been a very long time since I read that book alongside Kite Runner. I think I was a bit too young to be reading them, to be honest. I think I read them when I was around maybe 12 or 13 years old, and I just didn't really understand the wider political context of what I was reading about. I was a little bit hesitant about choosing this one though, because it is a reread and it's kind of like, maybe I should take this opportunity to read something different. So I have ended up choosing My Pen is the Wing of a Bird, new fiction by Afghan women. And this is an anthology collection of short fiction talking about their lives and experiences living in Afghanistan. I haven't read up too much more about what this book is about because it's short fiction. I don't want to spoil myself too much. I'm really excited for this one. Moving on to Albania, I did a little bit of research on this one, but there was, again, very limited choice from my local library. I do have an Albanian friend and I asked her for some recommendations, and one of the ones that came up pretty frequently was Free, Coming of Age at the End of History by Leah EP. And the most I really know about this one is that it's a memoir discussing the rise and fall of communism in Albania. So a little bit of like a political memoir going on. I'm a little bit scared of this one, but I think it's just like, I think it will really depend on EP's writing style, because I found kind of more political, economic memoirs quite difficult and dense. Just a little hard to get into if you don't have a pretty good understanding of the country that you're reading about. This one is interesting and very much one that I want to be reading, even if it scares me a little bit. The next country is Bulgaria, and guys, I'm so mad at this one. This is one of the countries that I absolutely could have bought a book for, rather than going to the library for, but I didn't feel like buying the book, so we are stuck with it. The book that I wanted to get, and that I did some research on, is She Made Herself a Monster by Anna Kovacheva. Really apologize for pronunciation, I'm probably doing it wrong, but this was not available at my local library because it's too fucking interesting, apparently. You know, just to get that kind of like folk horror fix, I would have loved this one. Maybe, you know, it's not fixed in stone, I could always go and buy this book if I see it. But what I've instead landed on is my third Gorgi Gospodinov book, and that is Death and the Gardener. I think this is his newest one. I have a history with this guy's books. I didn't really enjoy the first book that I read of his. I DNF'd the second book that I had of his. I think that is in one of my picker wheel TBR videos. I just did not enjoy it. I don't think I enjoy his writing style, but this is literally the only Bulgarian book that is not a travel guide available at my local library. So that's what I'm going with. Death and the Gardener. What is this book even about? I will say I do love the front cover of this book. Very beautiful. It's got one thing going for it. Let's read the overview together. Death and the Gardener traces the final month of a father's life, a dying father in a dying world. His son Gorgi, the narrator, reports both radically and gently from those end times. Is this a memoir? Oh god, this guy confuses me so much. It sounds a little more engaging than the other books that I've read, although I really liked The Sound of Time Shelter, and then I really disliked the beginning of the book. This one I am scared of. I'm scared of because I have not enjoyed two of his books previously, but there's no other option unless I buy a book, and it's kind of going against the grain of what I want to do with this challenge. We're going with Death and the Gardener by Gorgi Gospodinov. That is Bulgaria's pick. Croatia, we actually had three options, although the option that I have is going to be, I'm not going to say it's going to be embarrassing. I feel a little bit bad borrowing it because it is a large print copy. It sounds like the most interesting one to me, and it is Girl at War by Sara Novick, and I believe it follows a 10-year-old protagonist who is kind of like this tomboy and discusses the civil war in, at the time, Yugoslavia in the 1990s? Yeah, the Yugoslavian civil war. Interesting because it seems like it's kind of a blend of, like, I think it's historical fiction. I do like historical fiction in bits and bobs? No, what's the phrase? In drips and drap. I don't know what the phrase is. In little doses, I enjoy historical fiction. It seems like it's also a mixture of a coming-of-age story and a war story. Not so big on war books, but I think there's enough in this book that it sounds like it could be interesting, and of the other two options that I had, it's definitely the one that engages me the most. So those other two options were, apologies, this is where I'm really going to struggle with the pronunciation, Red Water by Jurica Pavicic. I was just getting weird vibes about this book. So again, this is set during the Yugoslavian civil war, and a woman disappears, a young girl or a young woman disappears right as the civil war starts. So the police, to my understanding, kind of give up on the case, but then kind of the search reveals like a hidden part of her life and part of the country. The way that the blurb was written didn't really appeal to me, so I was kind of thinking this is an option, but it's not what my first choice would be. The other option, Dubrovka. I really, oh my god. The third option that I had was The Ministry of Pain by Dubravka Ugresic. I'm sorry. And this is a Croatian-Dutch author, and the book is set in Amsterdam, but it felt like it was heavily Croatian still. So I felt like this didn't really fit the criteria, but it was something that sounded really cool. I'm a bit annoyed that this one doesn't fit the criteria, but I have bookmarked it for later. And this book is about someone who has fled Yugoslavia post-Civil War, or during the Civil War, to Amsterdam, and is kind of like processing and teaching at a university in Amsterdam, and kind of exploring what it feels like to be an outcast and an exile from your own country due to political reasons. That was the book that sounded the most interesting to me for Croatia, but I feel like because it was mostly set in Amsterdam, even though it was hugely about Croatia, The Girl at War probably fit better into this challenge. So The Girl at War is the book that we're reading. France. I did very minimal research on France. I typed France fiction into my library catalogue, or else everything would have just been travel books, and I found this book, Love Me Tender by Constance Debray. And for a very short overview of this book, it says that it is a novel of lesbian identity and motherhood, and the social pressures that place them in opposition. And that was enough to sell me. Yeah, that's it. Sounds like it's right up my alley. Literary fiction. It is literary fiction. So yeah, absolutely something that I want to read. And I was like, sounds good. I don't want to sift through all of these books set in France, about France, by British authors. This is the one that is by a French author. Iraq, I have chosen The Baghdad Clock by Shahad Al-Rawi. All of my books seem to be set in like 1991 to 93. I don't know how I've managed this. I know I just said I don't really like war novels, but this is most likely kind of a fiction about war during the Gulf War in Iraq, and about these two girls who kind of become friends whilst hiding in air raid shelters and learning how to navigate coming of age when you're in, you're seeing a city that you love being destroyed in front of your eyes. This was kind of one of the very few Iraqi books that were available in my local library that once again weren't travel books or weren't written by non-Iraqi authors. I just felt like this one was worth giving a try and sounded most interesting to me. Coming of age, girlhood is definitely always going to appeal to me more than other books that were available. So yeah, we're going for The Baghdad Clock. Morocco is the next country, and I chose Secret Sun by Laila Lalami. I think this counts. I don't know if she counts as a diaspora author. She is Moroccan American. In any case, the book is completely set in Casablanca, and actually the genre says that it's a Bildungsroman, which is very interesting. I don't know how long it's been, or at the very least I don't know how long it's been since I've been aware that I've read a Bildungsroman. Again, another coming of age story about our main character, a little boy who grows up in the Casablancan slums in Morocco. Don't know much about this one, didn't really want to read too much into it. With fiction, I'm always like a bit hesitant to read super into what happens for fear of spoilers. I always prefer to go into books knowing less. This one sounded interesting. I bookmarked it a while ago when I first started doing research for this video and this challenge. Right, Senegal. Senegal I really struggled with. There was no good options that really fit well within this criteria, so I found two books by the same author, David Diop. The first one was At Night All Blood is Black, which I liked the sound of the most of the two options, but it's a war book and it's mostly set in the trenches in France, so it didn't count even though it's from a Senegalese main character. I think David Diop would also be counted as someone as part of the diaspora, so again I'd rather try and go for someone who is not part of the diaspora for the sake of this challenge. His other book was Beyond the Door of No Return, and that one is set in Senegal, so that was going to be my first option until I found the perfect one. Well, I say it's the perfect one, it is still from a diaspora author, so it doesn't fit the challenge perfectly, but it is a book that I would much rather read, and that is Three Strong Women by Marie Ndiaye. She is a French Senegalese author, and this book is about three separate women, two of which travel back to Senegal. So I think it is mostly set in Senegal from my understanding of the preview. This was one that excited me the most of those options. I could not find a Senegalese author, unfortunately, at my library. This is the best one that we're going to get for this challenge without me going out and buying a book. But ultimately, I am very excited for that one. It just sounds really cool. Two countries left. Sweden. I had an overflow of options. I didn't realize how many Swedish books I'd already wanted to read. I think there's also like a market here in the UK for Swedish translated fiction because of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, for example, and also all of the Jonas Björnsson books that have become very popular, and also all of the Fredrik Backman books that have again become popularized. Correction, apparently his name is Jonas Jonasson, not Jonas Jonasson. So I had four options for this, and the first one was The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out of the Window and Disappeared by Jonas Jonasson. Had my eye on this one for so long, almost bought so many secondhand copies of this book. Something held me back, and again, I just don't feel like this was the right option for this challenge. Obviously, another one is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. These were super popular in the UK when I was too young to be reading them. I never read them. I was always curious about the name and the book cover and then subsequently the movie. But again, I feel like this is a book I want to read outside of this challenge, so I'm not going to go with that one. The third option I found is Beartown by Fredrik Backman. This one I've been very curious about, but I found Hannah's Daughters by Marianne Fredriksson. So I think this is the one I'm going to choose. I hadn't actually chosen them until I've started filming this video. I think I just want to read more female authors, so Okay, live reaction. I did research on Swedish books, and I did not actually research which ones were available at my local library. So I'm gonna have to think about this. Give me more time to do some research. I will be back. Okay, I'm a little bit upset with myself because I was really set on reading this book, but clearly I just researched Swedish books set in Sweden, written by Swedish authors, and then didn't cross-check what was actually available at my local library. So we're not going for Hannah's Daughters. We are instead going for the distinctly competent district councillor by Jonas. The distinctly competent district councillor by Jonas Jonasson, because that's the only one at my library. This is completely set in Sweden. Apparently this is about a district councillor who is trying to basically rejuvenate her local area and attract new jobs. It sounds like it's kind of like maybe a quirky little comedy. I'm not sure. I've never heard of this book before. That's the book we're going for Sweden. The final country is Thailand, and this was the one I could not find a book suitable at my library. I really struggled with this one. They were all travel guides, so I accepted defeat for this one. I have just gone and ordered a Thai book, and that is The Sad Part Was by Prabda Yoon. And this is from Tilted Access Press, who I love their book covers, so I'm not really mad about having to order this one. It sounds like something and looks like something that I would have picked up in a bookstore. I think this is a 12 short story collection about life in Bangkok and work and all of this stuff. So like I said, it sounds like something that I would have picked up to begin with, and there was just literally no other option for Thailand, so that is Thailand. And there we go. Those are the 10 books that I've chosen for the StoryGraph Reads the World Challenge 2026. I am very excited to get down and read these books. After I finished my current reading challenge, which is the Black British Literature, I think I'm maybe like 3 or 4 books down. It's taken me a while, but once I finish that, I am ready to jump onto this one. It might not be one that I read all 10 books in a row. Again, I might spread this out over the year. I'm not gonna rush it as long as I just finish it in 2026. But yeah, hopefully I will make a video discussing these books, reviewing them. But if any of you are participating in this challenge or have any book recommendations from these countries, please do let me know, because I will write them down. The last time that I posted a StoryGraph Reads the World Challenge video, someone commented that a certain book was from a country that I was struggling to find, and then I didn't realize it was from that country, and I went and read it, and it was great. So thank you to that lovely commenter. So if you have any ideas, please let me know, because you could be saving my life and choosing a better book than the ones that I have selected. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon in another video. Bye bye.